Today's news highlights 20250731. Date July 31, 2025. Republic of China July 31, 114. Time cutoff, 1500 hours on the same day. News focus: the well-known host Shen Yulin was urgently hospitalized due to explosive hepatitis, which raised concerns about the risk of hepatitis B. The doctor pointed out that Shen is a carrier of hepatitis B, and long-term use of health food may intensify immunity and lead to virus activation. There are about 2 million hepatitis B carriers in Taiwan, and liver disease is known as a national disease, and many patients are asymptomatic in the early stages and are only found to have impaired liver function in the late stages. Experts remind that hepatitis B patients should avoid supplements and immune-boosting products, regularly check liver function, and abide by the principle of a low-burden diet to prevent liver cancer from worsening. News focus: passion fruit is sweet and sour, rich in 165 nutrients, and has a vitamin C content equivalent to 8 oranges, which helps whiten and repair wounds. Its seeds are rich in dietary fiber, which is 3 times that of bananas, which helps to strengthen the intestines and stomach, detoxify and improve intestinal flora. Chen Yuqing, a health expert, suggested putting the whole passion fruit into the conditioner and breaking it at high speed, so that the seed entrance was smooth and did not hurt the gums. Drinking pineapple passion fruit juice in summer can also promote protein digestion and enhance spleen and stomach function. News focus: off the Kamchatka Peninsula, Russia on July 30, a magnitude 8.8 earthquake occurred, with an epicenter depth of 19.3 kilometers, triggering a tsunami of up to 4 meters, affecting Japan, Hawaii, Taiwan, and other places. Taiwan opened its tsunami response center for the first time, and Lanyu observed its tsunami wave of 12 centimeters, and there was no major disaster. This earthquake is the 6th strongest in history, and the energy released is equivalent to 8,000 atomic bombs. Experts warn that there may be aftershocks of magnitude 7 or above. Countries have strengthened their defenses. Netizens are hotly discussing Japanese cartoonist Ryuki Ryo's whether the 2025 disaster prophecy will be fulfilled later. News focus: China's Muyun district in Beijing has recently been hit by heavy rains for several days, causing floods and landslides, causing serious disasters. Officials reported that 30 people had died in the city, but the number of missing people was not announced, raising questions. A nursing home in Muyun district is suspected of being destroyed by flooding, and the casualties of many elderly people are unknown, and it can be seen in the film that the trapped elderly are helpless and call for help. Taishaitun town and many communities were seriously flooded, and residents lacked water and electricity, and there was a shortage of materials. The floods caused extensive damage and heavy losses to businesses. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council expressed its condolences on the disaster and hoped that the damage would be minimized and the injured would recover as soon as possible. News focus: US President Donald Trump has forced many countries, including the European Union, to accept a 15% tariff deal and pledge huge investments and purchases of US energy products with the threat of high tariffs and deadline negotiations. Nobel laureate in economics Krugman criticized the EU's empty concessions, no practical guarantees for investment commitments, limited hardware and energy procurement and difficult to achieve market substitution effects, which did not help US energy exports increase at all. The EU is accused of capitulating under Trump's pressure, but it may be difficult to fulfill its promises in the future, reflecting that Trump's trade strategy uses coercion and inducement to promote a superficial win-win situation, but in essence it is mostly compromised by opponents. News focus: Taiwan's first wave of recalls did not turn out as expected, and President Lai Ching-te expressed his willingness to bear all criticism and apologize to civic groups and supporters who participated in the action. He thanked the people for their persistence in participating in the scorching heat and showing their enthusiasm and belief in democracy. In the face of the next recall vote on August 23, the DPP will continue to fight side by side with civic groups. Lai also announced the resignation of Secretary General Lin Yusheng, represented by He Bowen, emphasizing that democracy needs to listen to the people and accept supervision, hoping to turn loss into a driving force for reform and let Taiwan move forward firmly. News focus: Apple Chief Operating Officer Williams will retire at the end of the year and will be replaced by Senior Supervisor Shibai Khan, which has aroused attention to the CEO succession layout. Shibai Han has a deep understanding of Apple's operations and culture during the Jobs and Cook eras, and has played a key role in supply chain restructuring, green manufacturing, and global manufacturing transformation. His promotion to Chief Operating Officer is seen as a popular candidate for Cook's successor, with leadership strength and institutional memory. In the face of geopolitical and AI competition challenges, whether Shibai Khan can lead Apple into a new era is attracting much attention. News focus: Taiwan's new personal investment savings account TISA is officially launched, focusing on starting investment of 1,000 yuan, low fees and high transparency, hoping to become a long-term financial management tool for the whole people to participate in. TISA combines policy assistance and a strict fund selection mechanism to create the third pillar retirement protection system in the first wave of 16 funds with no handling fees and 1% cap on manager fees. In order to cultivate long-term investment habits, a fixed amount is adopted and bound for about 48 months. Despite the lack of targets, limited tax incentives and challenges to binding thresholds, the Financial Supervisory Commission hopes to guide Chinese people to manage their finances steadily and prepare for retirement by expanding products, integrating with banks and striving for tax incentives. News focus. In the face of the AI wave and global transformation, Taiwan is standing at a critical crossroads. Silicon Valley cross-border venture capitalists pointed out that Taiwan has semiconductor advantages and engineering strength, and has the potential to transform from foundry to innovation partner. To seize the opportunity, it is necessary to strengthen technical talent, cultivate an entrepreneurial culture, and improve language and international communication. Entrepreneurs should have a global vision, technological differentiation and scale potential, and break through cultural and market limitations. AI applications solve local practical problems and demonstrate values. If Taiwan combines innovation and resilience, it has the opportunity to become a trusted leader in global AI. News focus. The transaction volume of Taiwan's housing market has shrunk significantly, but housing prices are still high-end and consolidated, and the pressure on buying houses has not been resolved. Although the central bank's selective credit control curbed speculation, in the face of the cooling of the housing market, society began to call for policy relaxation. Experts warn that if the restrictions are loosened rashly, it may reignite speculative risks and undermine market confidence and policy credibility. High housing prices not only compress household consumption, but also crowd out real economy investment. The housing market should focus on self-occupancy orientation, avoid resource misallocation, and let the market rationally correct under prudent supervision and move towards steady and sustainable development. News focus. U.S. President Donald Trump announced a trade agreement with South Korea imposing a 15% tariff on automobile and component exports to the United States, while the United States will not impose tariffs. South Korea has committed $350 billion in funding to promote corporate entry into the U.S. market, of which $150 billion is dedicated to shipbuilding, and will purchase $100 billion of liquefied natural gas and energy products from the United States. South Korea agreed to open markets for cars, trucks, and agricultural products, but did not further open up American cattle and rice. The move is seen as a strategic cooperation between the United States and South Korea to mutually benefit the economy and revitalize the manufacturing industry, and the two sides emphasize that the agreement will help enhance the international competitiveness of Korean companies. News focus. Honhai Vice President Wu Junyi and TECO Electric have established a strategic alliance through a capital increase and share exchange, focusing on global AI data center business opportunities. TECO Westinghouse, a subsidiary of TECO, has contractor status with the U.S. Department of Energy and Department of Defense, helping Honhai become a major supplier of AI infrastructure for the U.S. government. The two parties will combine the advantages of electromechanical and information and communication to promote the modularization and standardization of data centers, accelerate the construction and reduce costs, and target the markets of Taiwan, Asia, the United States and the Middle East. This collaboration is seen as an innovative model for seizing the center of AI sovereign computing power, and Honhai emphasizes the need to run faster than others to remain competitive. News focus. The United States and the European Union reached a trade agreement this week, and the EU will impose a 15% tariff on U.S. exports, but strategic products such as semiconductor equipment, aircraft, and related parts will receive zero tariff benefits. This move avoids product price increases from companies such as ASML, which is beneficial to semiconductor manufacturers such as TSMC, Intel, Samsung, and Texas Instruments. The EU said it will expand the list of zero-tariff products in the future to maintain the stability of the chip industry supply chain. News focus. 31-year-old singer Chen Fangyu, Kimberly, admitted that she broke up with Yan Wen, the drummer of the band who had been dating for 3 years, and resumed her friendship. After attending the Global Hakka Pop Music Competition on the 22nd, she drove a Mercedes worth 2.23 million yuan home with friends, during which she violated 4 consecutive violations, including illegal turns, illegal parking, and crossing the double yellow line, with a maximum fine of 6,000 yuan. She finally arrived safely at the Beiping Villa in Xinyi district, with a total price of more than 100 million yuan. The agent said that Kimberly has a busy private schedule and may be more careful to follow the rules in the future due to his focus on neglecting traffic details. News focus. Affected by the southwesterly airflow, heavy rain fell in central and southern Taiwan and mountainous areas today, 7/31, and the Taiwan Meteorological Administration issued a special report on heavy rain in 11 counties and cities, and Taichung, Nantou, Qi mountainous areas, Kaohsiung, and Pingtung mountainous areas were upgraded to super heavy rain. Nantou collected 249 mm of rainfall, and Taichung Dali 213 mm, which may cause flooding and mudslides. The Water Resources Department simultaneously issued level 1 and 2 flood warnings in many places, calling on the public to pay attention to lightning strikes, strong winds, and disaster risks, especially in mountainous and low-lying areas. News focus. Trump's reciprocal tariffs will be on the road on August 1, and South Korea negotiated a 15% preferential tax rate at the last minute, on the condition that it fully open up zero-tariff imports of U.S. goods and commit to investing $350 billion and purchasing $100 billion of liquefied natural gas. Taiwan is still negotiating, and it is reported that the government intends to invest about $3,000 to $400 billion US dollars, about 12 trillion Taiwan dollars, to strive for the same 15% tax rate, but the United States is suspected of additionally requesting the full opening of American pigs and cattle and the reduction of car tariffs to 5%. Executive Yuan Vice President Zheng Lijun is going to the United States for final consultations, and the progress will be announced in due course. News focus on the evening of the 30th. A female public relations officer surnamed Gu was cut in the neck by her ex-boyfriend surnamed Liu with a knife in the underground parking lot of the shopping mall and died of her injuries. Before her death, she complained about domestic violence by Liu Nan in the community, and posted injury examination forms and damaged boutique items, saying that Liu Nan frequently harassed her after breaking up, and even blocked her workplace. Liu Nan also asked for a reunion, promising to spend the rest of my life with you. After the police reviewed the monitor, they arrested Liu Nan and Yulan in the early morning of the 31st, and the case is still under investigation. News focus Hsinchu Mayor Gao Honggan was falsely accused by Chen Shifen, a professor in the United States, for defamation and was sentenced to 10 months in prison in the first trial. Gao Honggan denied plagiarism, accused Chen Shuangbiao, and insisted on his innocence. The High Court today revoked the first instance judgment and changed the sentence to 6 months in prison without changing the fine. The case originated from Chen's allegation of plagiarism of Gao Honggan's doctoral thesis on Facebook in 2021, and Gao filed a lawsuit for aggravated defamation. The judge criticized politicians for abusing the judiciary to prevent the exposure of fraud, and Gao Honggan had a bad attitude and was sentenced to false accusation in the first instance. During the second instance trial, Gao Honggan requested her innocence and questioned Chen's double standards. News focus heavy rain in the mountainous areas of Kaohsiung for several days caused the roadbed to collapse at 81.1 kilometers of Taiwan Highway 20, and a vehicle carrying 5 people fell into the valley. At 21:40 last night, the police were reported to rush to the scene, and the fire department continued to search and rescue. The driver disappeared after climbing onto the road for help. The first body was found this morning, a 17-year-old girl, and a second partial body was found, suspected to be a woman, and search and rescue is still ongoing. Preliminary investigation: the vehicle was driven by a man surnamed Li, and the passengers included his wife and 3 young women, and the cause of the accident needs to be further clarified. News focus: a fatal case occurred on the evening of the 30th in the underground parking lot of Wuxiu Cinema in Xinyi District, Taipei City, and a 27-year-old female publicist surnamed Gu was cut by her ex-boyfriend Liu and sent to the hospital for treatment. Gu Nu once accused Liu Nan of domestic violence and applied for a protection order, emphasizing that he had no relationship with others, and that Liu often went to her workplace to block people, so he did not block him. The police arrested Liu Nan, who was fleeing in Yulan in the early morning of the 31st, and the case is still under investigation. News focus: last night, a female public relations woman surnamed Gu was slashed to death by her ex-boyfriend Liu Nan with a knife in Xinyi District, Taipei City, and the police investigation found that the two had a relationship dispute, and Gu Nu also reported the case to apply for a domestic violence order. Liu, suspected of premeditating the crime, lurking in the parking lot and then escaping to Yulan, and the police pursued him late at night and arrested him in Wujia Township in the early hours of this morning. Gu Nu was seriously injured and sent to the hospital, and the police are tracking down the murder knife and clarifying the case. News focus: Tico 1504, and Honhai 2317, announced an alliance to jointly enter the AI data center market, driving Tico's stock price to hit a 1-month high at the opening of the market today, 31st, attracting 130,000 buy orders to queue up. Analysts pointed out that this move opens up a new AI theme for Tico, which has an incentive effect in the short term, but the actual benefits remain to be seen, reminding investors to avoid chasing higher prices and should wait for the market to sort out before making arrangements. The share exchange is expected to be completed in the 4th quarter and is subject to approval by the competent authority. News focus: after the new Taipei District Prosecutor's Office investigated, Jianning's family was charged with embezzling 43.18 million yuan of channel revenue and evading taxes of 5.72 million yuan, and was prosecuted on multiple charges. Jianning was found guilty of obstructing the use of computers by the prosecution for changing the channel password. She clarified through a lawyer's statement that there was no embezzlement or breach of trust, and only deeply regretted the part that interfered with the computer, and would explain the truth in court. News focus: 57-year-old Shen Yulan was rushed to the emergency department of the 3rd General Hospital due to physical discomfort a few days ago, and then transferred to the intensive care unit, which attracted attention from the outside world. The assistant denied it in a low-key manner at first, but the next day his wife Yaya explained through her IG that Shen Yulan was undergoing examination and recuperation after assessment, and her condition was stable. Yaya emphasized that Yulan Ge is optimistic and positive, and believes that he will recover as soon as possible and return to the stage to bring laughter. News focus: modern people often suffer from high-fat and high-salt diets and lack of exercise, leading to 3 highs in cardiovascular diseases, and the trend of rejuvenation is obvious. Experts recommend eating more superfoods such as salmon, edamame, berries, dark green vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, legumes, and whole grains to help reduce the risk of disease. Salmon is rich in omega-3, which is good for heart health. Edamame contains protein and dietary fiber, which promote intestinal peristalsis. Combined with olive oil, it improves the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Regular exercise and a healthy diet, as well as regular health check UPS, are key to preventing chronic diseases. News Focus: US President Donald Trump announced a 15% tariff on South Korean products, the same as Japan and the European Union, and said that the two sides have reached a comprehensive trade agreement, and South Korea will provide a $350 billion investment fund and promise to purchase $100 billion in energy products. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung responded that the agreement will help stabilize the export environment and strengthen strategic industrial cooperation, and the fund will be used in semiconductors, shipbuilding, and other fields to enhance the competitiveness of Korean companies in the United States and consolidate the US-South Korea alliance. News Focus: the government's second wave of Project Inventory to check whether military and public education have Chinese identity cards has ended, and the results show that no one holds a Chinese identity card, and 27 people who have obtained Chinese residence permits have given up. From January next year, the inspection will be officially included in the personnel system, and teachers in military public education and public schools must complete a certificate without applying for a Chinese certificate, otherwise they will not be selected. Officials stressed that when it comes to national loyalty issues, future inspections will be normalized, and if they refuse to cooperate or conceal, they may lose their public office or even Taiwanese identity. News Focus: Japan's 22-year-old popular AV actress Nanamibu suddenly announced that she would retire at the end of this year, ending her 3-year acting career, which shocked fans. She became popular with her sweet appearance and musical talent, and was known as the most singing AV actress, and was originally expected to fight for a few more years. Nanamibu said that she has been very happy since her debut, did not reveal her future plans, and only promised to cherish the interaction with fans in the remaining time. AV expert Eujian Chun-kai lamented that he retired too early, and it is speculated that the Taipei Adult Exhibition in August may be his last appearance in Taiwan. News Focus: Tom Cruise and 25-year-old Cuban actress Ana de Armas have a scandal again, although the two claim to only meet for a new film, but they were recently photographed holding hands in the park and spending ice cream time together, and in May, they attended Beckham's birthday party and Anna's birthday together, and the interaction was frequent and reminiscent. A few days ago, Tom Cruise specifically mentioned Anna's new film starring in the premiere of Mission Impossible, which deepened the attention and speculation of the relationship between the two. News Focus: Ryuji Imaichi, the lead singer of the Japanese boy band J-Soul Brothers 3, has come to Taiwan twice in 2024, and today, 31st, it was revealed that in the early morning of April 5 this year, he threatened a taxi driver after drinking and committing violence in Tokyo, threatening to kill you, and also pulled the driver's arm and slammed the partition in the car, but fortunately the driver was not injured. Imaichi said that he was emotionally unstable due to the conflict with people beforehand, and has been transferred to the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office for investigation by the police for violent and threatening behavior, and the case is still under investigation. News Focus: the Taiwanese drama 0 Day cost 230 million yuan and will be released on August 2, touching on the issue of war in the Taiwan Strait, with DPP legislator Shen Boyang as the general consultant and UMC founder CAO Xing investing. Kuomintang legislator Wang Hongwei questioned the Taiwan authorities' investment of 110 million yuan in subsidies and investments, and criticized the DPP for using the national treasury to promote cognitive warfare. She pointed out that Chunghwa Telecom holds 35% of the public shares and should be open and transparent, believing that Chunghwa Telecom evades supervision through trade secrets and questions political purposes wrapped in corporate investment. News Focus: Japanese cartoonist Ryo Tatsujuna predicted a tsunami in July this year, causing panic in Asia. An 8.8 magnitude earthquake occurred in eastern Russia on the 30th, which could cause a tsunami of up to 3 meters, affecting the coastal areas of Hokkaido, Japan, northeast to Okinawa, and Kagoshima. Hong Kong Feng Shui masters Su Minfan and Yang Tianming also warned of frequent disasters in Japan and surrounding areas this year, and Yang Tianming specifically pointed out that early July is a high-risk period and warned of possible changes in Kagoshima. Experts warn that disasters are difficult to predict accurately, but call on the public to be vigilant and pay attention to safety. News Focus: although snoring is often considered a symbol of sleeping soundly, if it is accompanied by life distress or sleep apnea, it is necessary to seek medical attention as soon as possible. Snoring can be improved by adjusting sleeping position, sleeping on your side to avoid airway obstruction, quitting smoking and drinking and a healthy lifestyle, using medications or oral aligners, and surgical intervention if necessary. Surgery includes soft plastic surgery, laser or microwave surgery, etc. If snoring interferes with daily life, accompanied by fatigue or difficulty concentrating, it may be a sign of sleep apnea, and you should go to the otolaryngologist or sleep clinic as soon as possible to evaluate and treat it to avoid health risks. News focus: in a case of child harm in Staten Island, New York, a 39-year-old autistic man Henderson threw his 1-year-old niece from the 3rd floor into the trash chute of a residential building while his brother was going to the toilet. After the baby girl was found missing by her parents, she was rescued in time, with only minor injuries to her face and body, and her life was not in danger. Police detained Henderson and will charge him with assault, unlawful confinement, and endangering the welfare of a child, and await a psychiatric report to decide on a follow-up trial. Henderson has no past violent record, and the case is still under investigation. News focus: 67-year-old veteran actress Hu Huizhong, used to be known as the Four Beauties of Taiwan with Bridget Lin and others, faded out of the entertainment industry after marriage, and moved to Douyin live streaming in recent years, but because of the sunken face and distorted facial features in the video, netizens questioned the excessive filter and unnatural AI sense, and the video was immediately deleted. Hu Huizhong debuted in the 1970s, became a female representative with films such as Overlord Flower, married Hong Kong ophthalmologist He's Hyping in 1998, and lived a low-key life after marriage. He's Hyping was involved in an international bribery case, and after being released from prison in 2020, the couple lived a peaceful life. News focus: in the hot summer, many mainland netizens praised Taiwan's ice cream products for their deliciousness and invincibility after traveling to Taiwan, believing that Taiwan's ice products were more than 10 years ahead of the world. They tasted a variety of ice products from Taipei, Taichung, Kaohsiung to Tainan, such as shaved ice, soft ice, and smoothies, almost without thunder, especially praising the taro ingredients. Netizens said that Taiwan's ice cream has a delicate taste and unique flavor, which is unforgettable after eating, and even after returning to the mainland, they miss the taste of Taiwanese ice products, which has become one of the most profound food experiences in travel. News focus: today, 31st, there will be showers or thunderstorms in the central and southern and southeastern mountainous areas, and there may be heavy rain or local heavy rain, and the probability of rainfall in the south is high. Other areas in Kinmen and Matsu will be cloudy, with local showers in the north and east in the afternoon. Weather anchor Lin Jiakai said that the rain in the central and southern parts will continue to increase this week, and the southwest wind will strengthen on Sunday and next Monday, which may bring short-term heavy rainfall. Mild typhoon Korisa is moving towards the eastern coast of Honshu, Japan, and people in Japan should pay attention to weather changes. The weather will gradually stabilize next Tuesday and Wednesday. News focus: the office of Ye Linghuan, vice chairman of the Kuomintang Taipei City, was investigated and searched today, 31st, and some information was taken away. Ye Linghuan's father is accused of being related to the Nayupa gang, and the former director of its service office, Zhang Hanming, and the current director, Lin Qingji, are also suspected of being involved in covering up a number of gambling video game and hotel operators in Zhongshan district, and the case is being further investigated by the prosecution. News focus: a fire broke out in a beef noodle shop on Taiping Zhongxing Road in Taichung early this morning, 31st, and the fire spread from the first floor to the home on the second floor. A family of 5 surnamed Xia was trapped, of which the grandmother hugged her 2 grandchildren, and the fire brigade urgently rescued them and sent them to the hospital for treatment. The 58-year-old grandfather and his 2-year-old granddaughter unfortunately died of their injuries, and the 1-year-old grandson and the remaining 3 family members are still being treated in the intensive care unit. The cause of the fire has yet to be investigated, and the fire mobilized 25 vehicles and 54 people to rescue it, and the fire was controlled and extinguished in about 1 hour, and the detailed cause of the accident continued to be clarified at the scene. News focus: Zhang Yun, a Chinese teacher in Xi, shared a photo of the flooded living room at home, and the water in the picture was as deep as the calf, but the father-in-law was seen sitting leisurely on a wooden chair and dozing off. Zhang Yun praised her father-in-law for being calm in the face of difficulties, thinking that he was his idol and teaching people not to bow to fate. The post sparked heated discussions among netizens, with some praising his father-in-law for his emotional stability and reminding him to avoid soaking his feet in mud and water for a long time to avoid getting sick. News focus: the recall case in Taiwan ended on the 26th, and the internet celebrity curator who supported the anti-recall immediately flew to Macau. On the 29th, he angrily reprimanded Huang Guangqin on a live broadcast in Macau because he was dissatisfied with media person Huang Guangqin's claim that the general recall has become his signature for going west. During the process, the curator mentioned "when I want to go abroad," and then panicked to correct it to "when I want to come to Macau." His eyes flashed, as if he was worried that the words would cause controversy. He emphasized that the trip was to talk about business in China, denying the outside world's words of leaving Taiwan, and criticizing Huang Guangqin's remarks as untrue, describing the other party as no different from the green media. News focus: on July 26th, the results of the general recall were released, and the recall of 24 Blue Committee members in Hsinchu Mayor Gao Honggan was not passed, and the DPP faced setbacks that triggered a wave of review inside and outside the party. Ke Jianming, the head of the Legislative Yuan Caucus, was named and responsible, and legislator Wang Shijian even used toilet paper to insinuate Ke Su for self-examination at the Standing Committee. Jianming responded on Facebook on the 30th, emphasizing that the recall vote in the remaining 7 constituencies on August 23 was a last stand, calling on the party to unite and fight together, and jointly rescue the country under the leadership of party chairman Li Qiang, emphasizing that anti-communism to protect Taiwan and save the country must be fought for. News focus. In the face of the recall vote on August 23, DPP chairman Li Qiang instructed the party department and public officials to fully support the recall of the opposition camp, but Wang Shijian, a member of the Standing Committee of the Central Committee, advocated that social division should be avoided, called on the recall group to withdraw the case, and criticized the party caucus leader Jianming for knowing where to advance and retreat. Wang Rud, a senior media person, retorted, emphasizing that if you lose the election, you will admit defeat, but you must not lose your mind, and you should unite to fight to the end, support the party and the anti-strike group to fight together, and criticize the Kuomintang for not fulfilling its promises and overtaxing in many places, and calling on supporters to see the true face of politicians and continue to support the DPP in resisting the recall. News focus from today, 31st, to August 4th, affected by strong southwesterly winds, the area south of Mili is prone to local heavy rain, and there are also local brief showers in other areas in the afternoon. Meteorological expert Xu Xingxing said that the southwest wind will weaken on the 5th, and there will still be sporadic brief showers in various places in the afternoon except Hualien, and occasional brief rain south of Tainan. From the 6th to the 9th, there will be sporadic brief rain along the coast south of Yunlin, and scattered showers may also occur in the mountainous areas in the afternoon. News focus. In 2024, the comprehensive income tax bracket will be adjusted, the tax exemption and deduction amount will be increased, and the first batch of tax refunds will reach 58.5 billion yuan, a record high. Today, 31st, about 3.62 million tax refunds were issued, and the public can collect them through designated accounts or tax refund vouchers. If you do not use direct transfer, the redemption period of the voucher is until September 30th, and the amount is different and the collection method is different. The second and third batches of tax refunds will be issued in batches on October 31st and January 20th, 2026, and different declaration methods will be applicable. The Ministry of Finance reminds that the tax collection authorities will not notify tax refunds or ask for confirmation of account information by phone, and the public should take the initiative to verify when in case of doubt. News focus. A 60-year-old woman in Henan, China, sought emergency medical attention due to long-term use of the same pair of chopsticks without replacing them for 5 years, resulting in the accumulation of a large amount of carcinogenic aflatoxin in her stomach, vomiting and diarrhea. Doctors remind that wooden chopsticks are prone to food residues and mildew, and should be replaced regularly to avoid health risks. Aflatoxin is a first-class carcinogen, commonly found in contaminated peanuts, grains, nuts and Chinese medicinal materials, and needs to be destroyed by high temperature, and long-term ingestion may increase the risk of liver cancer, especially for hepatitis patients. Experts call for proper storage of ingredients and tableware to prevent the accumulation of toxins from harming health. News focus. The Ministry of Labor today, 31st, issued National Pension Insurance Maternity Benefits. New mothers are eligible to receive about 39,522 yuan at a time. Twins and multiple births can be increased proportionally, and the application period is within 5 years from the date of delivery or premature birth, and no payment will be made after the deadline. There are multiple ways to apply, which can be applied simultaneously when the Household Registration Office handles the birth registration, or online, by mail and in person to the Labor Insurance Bureau. The National Pension Maternity Benefit is applicable to those who give birth or give birth prematurely during the insurance period, or those who give birth due to the same pregnancy accident within 1 year after surrendering the insurance and do not receive other Social Security maternity benefits. News focus. On July 26, the results of the first wave of recalls were released, and 24 Kuomintang legislators and Hsinchu Mayor Gao Honggan successfully retained their seats. Li Qiang, chairman of the Democratic Progressive Party, ordered the whole party and civic groups in the strike area to face the second wave of recall votes on August 23, but former legislator Guo Zhengliang believes that the morale of the strike group has been greatly reduced, and the Blue Committee of the 823 recall case has strong organizational capabilities. Coupled with the impact of the referendum, the election situation is quite unfavorable to the strike. Guo and former legislator Cai Zheng Yuan both pointed out that 823 has rich experience in recalling legislators, and the difficulty of recall is high, and the probability of success is low. News focus. A shooting occurred in Gangshan District, Kaohsiung City in the early morning of this morning, 31st, and a 34-year-old man was found to have been shot in the head in an open space on Chenchalun Lia Road, with a modified pistol and 5 bullet casings left next to it. After receiving the report, the police found the man's body, and there were no traces of a fight at the preliminary scene examination. The belongings and identity documents on the body and in the car were intact, and there was no abnormality in the dash cam, and the possibility of homicide was preliminarily ruled out. The bullet has been sent for forensics, and the case is being investigated by the Bridgehead District Attorney's Office. News Focus: The Federal Reserve decided to keep interest rates unchanged today to withstand President Trump's continued pressure to cut interest rates. Chairman Powell emphasized that the Fed's independence is in the public interest and allows decision-making to focus on data and risk assessment rather than political intervention. In the face of Trump's repeated tariff policies and their lagged impact on inflation, the Fed said it would observe the summer economic data before evaluating. Trump has repeatedly expressed dissatisfaction with Powell's failure to cut interest rates immediately, but the Fed insists on setting policies based on data. News Focus: Suffering affected by the 0728 Southwest airflow heavy rain event. Heavy rain continued in the central and southern regions and mountainous areas, and today, 31st, in many places. 8 townships stop going to work. Kaohsiung Mountain District 6 administrative district classes are suspended. Chimishan, etc. 5 The township suspended classes. Tainan Nanhua Rufeng Primary School suspended classes. Tatung Daran Tuban Village and Tuban Primary School suspended classes. People pay attention to safety and pay attention to the latest announcements. News Focus: A vehicle fell into a valley accident near the Koshui inspection post in Daowen District, Kaohsiung on the evening of the 30th, and a family of 5 was missing. The family includes 33-year-old father Li Nan, 37-year-old mother Wu Nu, baby girl who has just turned 1 month old, 17-year-old eldest daughter surnamed Pan and 3-year-old boy. Because her 17-year-old daughter needed to return to the clinic, her father accidentally fell into a valley when she took her down the mountain for medical treatment, and the road at the accident site was hollowed out about 3 stories high. Search and rescue personnel found 17-year-old Pan Nu on the morning of the 31st, who was helping to get out of trouble. Bad weather and heavy rain continued to hinder rescue work, and the police and fire department continued to make every effort to search and rescue other missing family members. News Focus: Kowtown Town, Nantou, continued to rain heavily last night, causing serious flooding in the Pinglan section of the 29th kilometer of Taiwan Line 14 and in front of the Chinfu General Temple, and even some fish were washed into the supermarket. After the flood receded, the supermarket was covered with mud, the goods were moved to the table, and the store was hurriedly cleaned. Local residents wore rain boots to shovel the mud, hoping to restore their lives as soon as possible, and suggested digging deep streams to prevent further flooding. Due to flooding, some roads were blocked, and some drivers took the risk of passing in the opposite direction, and heavy rains continued to affect the lives of residents in central and southern China for several days. News Focus: Every year from April is the mango season in Taiwan, and the Agriculture and Food Department shares 3 tips for choosing fresh mangoes. The skin is bright and powdery, the fruit shape is full and the bottom is smooth, and the aroma is close to the smell. Mango is a late ripening fruit. If it feels hard and has fruit powder, it is recommended to leave it at room temperature for 2 days to ripen, and the peel is shiny and fruity and fragrant before eating, or wrapped in newspaper and refrigerated. If black spots appear on the peel, it is mostly due to anthracnose or black spot, but as long as the pulp is not damaged, it can still be eaten with peace of mind, and if it is seriously damaged, it should be avoided to ensure safety and quality. News Focus: The United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on August 1st, but the tariff rate on Taiwan has not yet been announced, and it is reported that the Taiwanese government intends to invest about $400 billion in exchange for a 15% tariff concession. Kuomintang Legislative Yuan General Summoner Fu Kunkai questioned Taiwan's foreign exchange deposit contract $580 billion, of which 90% is invested in U.S. bonds. If another 12 trillion Taiwan dollars are invested, it may empty 30 trillion Taiwan dollars, which will bring huge risks to the country's economic stability. He stressed that the tariff agreement with the United States must be approved by the Legislative Yuan, and called on the government to carefully assess its affordability to avoid hollowing out the economic foundation accumulated by Taiwan's 3 generations, and to resume negotiations with the United States. News Focus: Honhai Vice President Wu Junyi and Tico Electric announced on the stock exchange on the 30th that they would form an alliance by way of capital increase and share exchange to lock in the business opportunities of global AI data centers. Tico Westinghouse, a subsidiary of Tico, is qualified as an engineering contractor for the U.S. Department of Energy and the Department of Defense, which is the key for Honhai to enter the U.S. government's AI infrastructure bid. This cooperation gives Honhai an advantage in obtaining the qualification of the main bidder for data centers in the United States, and although it is still subject to a number of government procurement regulations and operating conditions, it will accelerate the accumulation of bidding qualifications through Tico Westinghouse. This strategic alliance helps Honhai seize opportunities with competitors such as Wistron and Quanta. News Focus: The United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on August 1st, and Taiwan has not been notified or reached an agreement so far, facing a risk of high tariffs of 32%. The report pointed out that the United States is strongly pressuring Taiwan to fully open its market, and although Taiwan is actively negotiating and promising to increase purchases with the United States, there has been no breakthrough. This situation puts Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te in a dilemma, fearing a backlash on the island and losing U.S. support. At the same time, Japan and South Korea have reached an agreement. India has been subject to a 25% tariff, Canada and Mexico are slow to negotiate, and the United States insists on not postponing the implementation of tariffs. News Focus Hsinchu Mayor Gao Honggan was sentenced to 10 months in prison in the first trial and 6 months in prison in the second instance for being falsely accused by Chen Shifen, a professor in the United States. Gao Honggan disagreed with the verdict, emphasizing that his doctoral dissertation had been reviewed by his American alma mater and found no impropriety, and would appeal in accordance with the law. The case began because Chen Yu alleged on Facebook that Gao Honggan was removed from the list by his advisor, and Gao sued for defamation, and Chen was not prosecuted and countersued for false accusations. During the second instance, the two sides requested different judgments, and Gao Honggan hoped that justice would be returned. News Focus US President Donald Trump announced a comprehensive trade agreement with South Korea, in which South Korea will invest $350 billion in designated U.S. investment projects and purchase $100 billion worth of energy products. The United States agreed to impose a 15% tariff on South Korea, down from the original 25%. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung confirmed that the agreement includes a $350 billion fund to support industrial cooperation in shipbuilding, semiconductors, secondary batteries, and other industries, and strengthen the strategic partnership between the two countries. South Korea has also been protected from some agricultural markets and has not further opened its rice and beef markets. This move brought an important turning point in the U.S. reciprocal tariff policy on August 1. News Focus in response to the rumors on the internet that Taichung will overcollect 12 billion yuan and distribute 40,000 yuan, the Taichung city government clarified that the actual collection of local taxes in the past 6 years totaled 272.2 billion yuan, which was 1.7 billion yuan less than the budget. The city government emphasizes that taxes are implemented in accordance with the laws and regulations of the Taiwan authorities, and the online legend law is fabricated out of thin air. Rumors disrupt official operations and have been reported to the police. The Green Duck also criticized the Bluebird camp for spreading rumors and poor mathematics, and was slapped in the face by the city government's data. News Focus: a woman in her 30s sought medical attention due to poor appetite and constipation, and accidentally discovered a 3.5 cm tumor in the tail of the pancreas, and was diagnosed with a rare pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor, PNET, the same disease as Jobs. Although it is stage 3 and has metastasized, the prognosis is better than that of general pancreatic cancer. Doctors remind that the symptoms of this disease are not obvious, and diabetics should be particularly vigilant, and early examination can help grasp the treatment opportunity. News Focus: Chunghwa Telecom suddenly experienced a communication failure in the early morning of the 31st, causing all users in Taiwan to be unable to make and receive calls, and only the network service remained normal, affecting for 7 hours and not recovering until 7 a.m. The disaster affected the general public and medical institutions, and many users complained on social platforms that customer service could not be contacted without warning or explanation, causing dissatisfaction.